Trent, firstly, the fourth quarter, where did the game change from your point of view?
To be honest, I think it changed in the third. I think that Adelaide completely dominated that quarter, and it was just the fact that we kicked one against the trend of the game and that they didn't capitalise on their chances. So I think it changed in the third. I thought their midfield got completely on top in that stage, and they used it well and methodically until they got to their front half, and our mids didn't really get involved enough and force turnover, and that was where it was won and lost at that point probably.
Was there anything as a team that you tried to get on top of players like Hatchard and Marinoff through that period?
Yes and no. We were disappointed with our mids' efforts to actually defend those players when they had the ball. So if they were going to win in the contest, that's fine. But if they were running forward, because they weren't running forward at great pace, but our mids weren't doing a good enough job in getting to one-on-one. So that was the disappointing part. There wasn't too many levers we could pull. We tried to hack our owner in the middle just to change things up, and we moved on to Ty forward, who did show a bit in that space. But we really needed our mids to change it, and we had the personnel in there to do it, but they just didn't get that job done today.
Battle of 1 and 2 and a high stakes game coming to the end of the season. What are the emotions like for you and for the team after the game?
We're disappointed, to be honest, but not with the loss, but with our effort. To be honest, the group were very flat, and it wasn't because we lost the game, but because we didn't have a really good crack at it in the way that we think our brand is. Adelaide were really strong all day and controlled, and to be honest, should have won by more. The inside 50s say that 43-17. So the initial emotion was disappointment that we played so poorly, but then we're very fortunate that we get to take on Melbourne next week, who are another really good side, and we need to start proving ourselves against that calibre of sides if we're going to be taken seriously in the competition.
G'day, Trent. It's Justin Chadwick here. If my maths serve me correct, you guys only had 4 inside 50s in that second half. I guess how much of a concern is it just to be outgunned by that extent?
Yeah, a real concern. It's a concern, obviously, in that game. I wouldn't like to think it's a trend for us against even good sides, that we can create a lot more opportunities than that going forward. So that's one that we'll review solidly and have a look at why that did happen. As I said, I think it was mainly our midfield who lose in that battle, but also what could our backs do to not just soak up some pressure, but see if we can get part of that ball movement to create some run. That's something that obviously needs to be addressed, because if we're not going to threaten anywhere near the good sides if we're only getting that many inside 50. So we'll definitely work on that during the week.
Yeah, I mean, Hayley Miller's been so good all season. She had a quiet one today. Can you put your finger on why that was?
Yeah, no, she did definitely. She still looked dangerous at times. I think she's probably taken on maybe a little bit too much workload herself in Kiara Bauer's absence, and maybe that caught up with her a little bit today. Yeah, her first rotation was a little bit too long, and she's more of a power athlete than an endurance athlete, even though she's increased that endurance side of her game. And yeah, she did look tired on occasions. So we'll freshen her up during the week. She's a very proud person, Hayley. She won't like that individual performance from herself, and she'll be out to make amends very quickly.
And Bowers and Rue, what are their chances of returning next week?
Rue should be available for selection. She had the hamstring, but her form had only been patchy, so she needs to either really impress on the track or build up some good form at training, and maybe waffle W. So we'll see how she goes during the week, and it should be sort of a borderline selection. And Bowers, to be honest, we haven't got a lot of idea. It was the knee injury was only on Tuesday. Scans are all good, so that was very pleasing. And we'll see how that progresses. I'd say she'd be unlikely for this round, but if it improves quickly, you never know with Kiara. She'll be putting her hand up, that's for sure. But we have to also monitor it very closely with her history as well.
Yep, cool. All right, thanks for that.
Steph Kane seemed to take on a bit more responsibility in the midfield today and have one of her better games. How did you sort of see her role today?
Yeah, we decided that we're going to throw Steph in there to basically have that extra midfielder through there with Kiara being out. I was really happy with her game. She worked extremely hard, probably run herself into the ground. I think she had 14 touches up to half time. I was stoked with her performance in her first time in that role. She has trained there. We've toyed with it over the past 2 or 3 years, but she's so effective for us in a wing that we're always reluctant to do that. It's good now that we know that she can play both roles, and I dare say that she'll flip between the two for the rest of the season.
And the defensive battle was enormous sort of at both ends, but Jess Lowe sort of playing that role on Woodland for much of the game. How did you sort of see that and the back line as a whole?
Yeah, it was really unfortunate that Woodland did score that late goal, because I thought Jess Lowe was outstanding on her, did a really good job. And to be honest, our backs, they were great. Like, I know Pontus had a pretty good game, but Anne Stanner, I thought, was one of our better players as well. And I know one of the goals definitely wasn't her fault. It come further up through the midfield. So I thought our backs, fought really hard, and to keep a side like Adelaide with 43 inside 50s to 3 goals is a remarkable effort by that group. But it's what we expect from them, because they've been really good all year.
And just with the ladder formation in these final few rounds, it's somewhat out of your hands now, but you think you're still a shot of climbing back into that top 2 if you tick off these last 2 wins?
Yeah, I had a quick look. It's possible to finish 8-2 and finish 5th. So that's our best possible result now, is 8-2. So that's how tight it is at the top, and not a lot between those top 5 sides. So all we can do is do what we can do. If we do finish 8-2, I think with our percentage, that would guarantee us top 4 anyway, which gives us at least that first final at home. So that's all we can do. And to be honest, if we play like we did today, we don't deserve to be anywhere near there or be competitive in the final. So we have to come out and make sure that we just play well next week against Melbourne, and whatever will be with the ladder, and we'll go from there.